Welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today. Look, if you're watching the professional landscape in India right now, there is a massive structural shift happening across the entire economy that you simply cannot ignore. We're talking about India's green transition. And you know what's really fascinating? This isn't just about environmental impact anymore. It's literally creating entirely new, incredibly lucrative career opportunities. So whether you're a student, maybe a consultant, or a seasoned professional looking to pivot, understanding the real career roadmap in ESG, that's environmental, social, and governance, and sustainability, well, that's your key to unlocking a totally future-proofed career. We're going to look at the skills you actually need, the specific roles that are opening up right now, and exactly how you can position yourself to ride this wave.
Okay, let's dive into this. For a really long time, there was a major misconception about what sustainability actually meant in the corporate world. Seriously, if I had asked you a decade ago what corporate social responsibility looked like, you'd probably picture a team in matching t-shirts, out planting trees on a Saturday, taking some nice photos and slapping them into an annual report. But is that what this is about today? Absolutely not. No way. We need to completely scrap that old assumption. The days of sustainability just being a feel-good branding exercise or some shiny PR stunt are completely over.
The shift here is night and day. The old way was all about PR and branding, right? Just a nice-to-have afterthought. But the new reality? Sustainability has become a hardcore operational and financial mandate. It is deeply embedded into compliance, finance, daily operations, and the entire supply chain. Businesses are facing incredibly strict reporting mandates, new energy efficiency requirements, and massive pressure from buyers and investors. They aren't looking for someone to run a photo op anymore. They are desperately looking for professionals who can translate highly complex environmental policies into tangible, boots-on-the-ground business action. It's shifted from a marketing function to a strict, data-driven business necessity.
To help you navigate this massive shift, we've put together a very clear roadmap for today's explainer. 1. The green transition reality. 2. Emerging ESG career paths. 3. The core skills you need. 4. Building real credibility. And 5. Your practical action plan.
Let's start right off with Section 1, the green transition reality, and exactly why this matters to businesses right now. So, to understand the job market, you really have to understand the business pain points. For corporates and MSMEs in India, the pressure is coming from literally everywhere. You've got rising environmental risks, demands from international buyers, and incredibly strict new market regulations. A prime example of this is BRSR 2025. That stands for Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting. This is mandated by SEBI, and it is a major compliance requirement. It forces companies to not just look at their own carbon footprint, but to track ESG data deep into their entire supply chains, their value chains. Think about it. If you're a small supplier to a massive corporate entity, that corporate now needs your emissions data to fulfill their own reporting. That is a massive data and compliance headache for them, which, you guessed it, equals a massive job opportunity for you.
And this brilliantly illustrates how macro policies create specific, day-to-day business needs. For instance, if a business has a massive emissions problem, the regulatory driver that's forcing them to act is often the GHG protocol covering Scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions. The fix for that? They need carbon accounting. Or let's say the problem is waste. The driver there is EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility. The fix? Rigorous compliance tracking. And if the headache is international trade, especially dealing with Europe, the driver is CBAM, the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism. The fix here is deep supply chain data collection. Every single one of those fixes, that represents an entirely new job category. Which brings us perfectly to Section 2, Emerging ESG Career Paths and Translating Policy into Action. Because of those exact business problems we just looked at, the sheer volume of high-demand roles opening up is just staggering. We're seeing companies aggressively hire for ESG analysts, carbon accounting analysts, and sustainability consultants. There are highly specific roles out there too, like EPR compliance specialists, green supply chain analysts, and climate finance associates. And depending on the sector, technical roles like an energy audit coordinator are incredibly valuable, especially if you happen to have a background in energy systems or engineering. The green economy isn't just one thing. It requires a vast, interconnected ecosystem of specialized professionals. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the reality check it provides. It is wonderful to have a general interest in sustainability. Wanting to save the planet is a genuinely noble motivation. But I've got to give you some tough love here. Passion is not a job title. An employer cannot hire passion. Instead, what's actually a valuable asset to a company is an energy audit coordinator
or a BSRC reporting consultant. Businesses have urgent, very expensive compliance problems. They don't just need enthusiasts cheering from the sidelines, they need specific problem solvers who can come in, roll up their sleeves, and fix those issues. So how exactly do you become that problem solver? Let's move to Section 3, core skills you need, and look at the actual tools of the trade. I know, you got into sustainability to save the rainforests, and here I am telling you to go master Excel. But guys, it's the absolute truth. A huge part of saving the planet, from a corporate perspective, actually involves staring at a whole lot of spreadsheets. Data collection, data cleaning, and data management are literally the foundational skills of the modern ESG professional. You can't manage what you can't measure, and right now, businesses are desperately trying to accurately measure their environmental impact.
Beyond Excel, there are some core competencies you absolutely need to develop. You need to be totally comfortable reading policy, taking a dense, boring government circular and actually understanding what it means for a factory floor. You need sharp report writing and presentation skills. You have to manage stakeholders and conduct real field research. You need a solid grasp of basic finance, and you must know how to calculate emissions, specifically understanding Scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions. Add in compliance documentation, and you've got yourself a total powerhouse skill set. Even if you're just designing CSR projects, it requires a rigorous mix of research, planning, and the ability to prove return on investment, both financially and socially.
Once you have the skills, you have to prove it. Section 4 is about building real credibility, going way beyond just collecting certificates.
So we have to address the elephant in the room here. There are a ton of online courses out there right now. And sure, just taking a course and getting a paper qualification is a start, but let's be honest, it won't make you stand out from the hundreds of other people who just printed the exact same certificate. Real credibility comes from tangible proof. When you sit down in an interview, you want to be able to pull out actual field notes, data templates you've built yourself, real projects you've contributed to, or detailed case studies you've analyzed. That kind of practical, hands-on evidence is what actually builds trust with an employer. It proves you can genuinely do the work.
And while we're on the topic of credibility, here is a crucial reality check straight from the source notes. When you are doing this work, always rely on current official portals. The rules around ESG, subsidies, and frameworks change incredibly fast. Never rely on old rules. And please, never make assumptions about whether a specific MSME is covered by a framework without checking the official, current sources. And most importantly, unless you happen to be a qualified lawyer, never present your policy interpretation as legal advice. Being a credible professional means knowing the strict limits of your role and ensuring your data is absolutely ironclad.
Let's move to and see how this builds into our fifth and final section, your practical action plan, so you can actually get started today.
If you're looking to pivot, here is your step-by-step chronological learning path. This transforms what might seem like a really daunting career change into a highly manageable checklist. Step 1. Start with the basics of ESG and energy efficiency. Step 2. Learn the frameworks, specifically GRI, or General Sustainability Reporting. Step 3. Dive deep into carbon accounting, particularly the GHG protocol. Step 4. Understand the basics of CSR law and project management. And finally, Step 5. Get sector exposure. Actually apply these concepts to a specific industry, whether that's textiles, manufacturing, or tech. If you follow this path, you're going to build a remarkably strong foundation.
So the crucial point is captured perfectly in this quote from the source material. Do not position yourself only as someone interested in sustainability. Position yourself as someone who can solve a business problem. Remember, your actual value to an employer lies in your ability to handle data collection, prepare them for compliance, uncover major cost savings through energy efficiency, respond to those international buyer demands, or get them ready for green finance. You are a problem solver first and foremost.
And that leads me to leave you with this final vital question. Which business problem are you going to solve today? The green transition isn't just a fleeting trend. It's a fundamental rewiring of the entire global economy, and India is right at the center of it all. The jobs are out there, the need is urgent, and the roadmap is crystal clear. So, figure out exactly which problem you want to tackle, start building those practical skills, and step into this new reality. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep pushing forward, and I highly encourage you to review the source links to dive even deeper into these frameworks. Catch you next time.